Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Man Cave. We're going to do another tutorial video, and this time we're going to actually go over plugin installation. And what I want to do is make sure that we're all on the same page, meaning that I want to start you really fresh. And so if you have any other plugins installed, I'm going to show you what the folders should look like before we even get started. So this is what I want you to do: is open up your GTA 5 directory, and this is for Steam users. Once again, you can kind of see the pathway here. It's I have mine on the C drive, by the way. If you have it on a different drive, you just go by that. So you should, if you have it on a different drive, you obviously know about pathways. So if it is on your C drive, once again, you can see the pathway: program files, Steam apps, common, Grand Theft Auto 5. If you have a retail version, it'll be Program Files, Rockstar Games, and then GTA 5 or Grand Theft Auto 5. The two folders I want you to pay attention to the most are these two right here: Plugins and Lspdfr. So the Plugins folder, it should look like this right here. This is a fresh install of Lspdfr, and it's going to be 0.2b as of the making of this video, which is October the 2nd, 2015. And then I want you to look inside this plugins folder. Notice there's a plugin, there's a folder within a folder, meaning this is the main folder that most of your plugins are going to go into. So if you open Lspdfr, this is where most of them are going to be found. Notice that when you open this one up right now, yours should be blank, meaning you shouldn't have any files in that folder. If you have files in that folder, that means you have plugins already installed. So this tutorial is not meant to, try to get your plugins working. It's to teach you how to install plugins and to teach you where to install the plugins. So if you have something here and you want to just try the tutorial out, I'm going to have you install 3 plugins. We're going to go with that in just a second. But if you want to try this out, take everything out of here and literally create a new folder and, slap them in there. Okay, just name it whatever you want, but that way you don't lose anything. And then one last thing is the Lspdfr folder. This is what it should look like, guys. You got your play scanner and you got a PDF folder in there. And the play scanner, this is all native for Lspdfr 0.2b for the moment, and this is all that should be in that folder. Notice this is your, once again, where people get confused, is your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder, your general directory. You have 2 main folders we mess with: this one and then this one. But once again, not to confuse people, you got your plugins and then you got your Lspdfr folder within the plugins folder, guys. So we're going to be installing most things, everything in there. Alright, so back to the 3 mods that I want you to install. Okay, they're going to come from 2 modders that are very popular in the community. That is Fincon and Albo 1125. And Fincon has the police radio, and then Albo 1125 has 2 mods that I like. They are Traffic Policer and then Arrest Manager. Now the reason why I mentioned these 2 modders in particular and these 3 mods in particular is because pretty much I think most people would agree that you need to have at least these 3 mods to have a pretty immersive gameplay within Lspdfr. You don't have to have these, but I think when you pull people over, you want to do a plate check, you want to be able to call for a tow truck, you want to be able to call for a coroner. That's all going to be right here. You want to be able to call for a prisoner transport and those kind of things. It's going to come from right here. And then if you want some really nice call-outs type things, ANPR hits, they're going to come from Traffic Police or things like that. So we're going to go over these 2, and then the biggest reasons why I chose these 2 modders, not only because they are the 2 of the most popular modders, is because what they do is they actually link their mods straight into Lspdfr, meaning that when you fire up RageHook, it automatically loads Lspdfr, and Lspdfr loads all of these mods, or these 3 mods right here in particular. Now there's probably some other mods out there, I know for a fact, that do the same thing, but for the sake of this video, this is the ones we're going to be installing. So right now we're going to go to Google, and little thing that's going on right now, the site's having a little bit of difficulty, so if you really want to make sure that you're getting to the site, just go ahead and just type in lspdfr.com. And that's an old site, but it doesn't matter. It'll get you right to where you need to get to. It's the Lspdfr. So if you hit that and then you just hit enter, it'll get you right to where you want to be. Notice it's Lspdfr at the top of the site. The whole reason behind the Lcpdfr, obviously that was GTA 4. So they've obviously updated everything, and they own the site name, and they just haven't changed the Lspdfr. And technically there's another folder here, but that's okay. This is how you can get to it right now, because occasionally the site will have problems with some maintenance, things like that. If you cannot pull up the site, like right now, you can see my my actual this is, you know, my bookmark. This is where you should be going. It's a blank page. So once again, when you do lcpdfr.com, you'll come to the actual site. So what you're going to do is go to downloads. You're going to go to the right hand side of the screen. You're going to notice two of the most popular modders right here. You'll see right there, and you got some other good ones here, Fincon and Albo 1125. So we're going to start with Fincon. Some people say Fincon. It's okay. If you go to Police Radio, that's the one you want. Notice he's got some other ones. Some of these are kind of old, but that's okay. We're just going to focus on Police Radio. He pretty much has stopped coding on this particular Police Radio. He's passed on the coding on to somebody else, which is, you know, fine, as you know, if they're up to it. We're used to, you know, top-notch coding from Fincon, and he's pretty confident that the person he's passed it on to is going to, you know, take the place and keep going with this particular mod, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to really worry about which version of Rage Hook, you know, things like that, because if you look, you know, obviously it looks kind of old because it's August 10th. You know, this is almost 2 months old. And when you're talking about modding, that's kind of getting up there, you know. But notice he's got Rage Hook 20. It's really what he meant by 0.20. It's untested. So believe it or not, it still works for version 0.26, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go here. Make sure you stay away from this area right there. That's more of a, you know, the site, you know, is trying to get you to, you know, go to some advertising. You click on download this file. Notice there's two files. They look remarkably the same. And notice the size of the files are the same. Make sure you go to the bottom one. This is the very latest one, and he calls it a hot fix. It's to kind of keep the game from crashing so much. And this is the one that we've been the most successful with. So notice the Rage Hook number. We are on 2.6, but it still seems to work. So you want to download this. Obviously, it's going to take you to another screen. Just go ahead and download it, and just for the sake of this video, just download it onto your desktop. And then we're going to back out a couple of times here, and we're going to go back to Albo right here. And then on Albo, same thing. He's got two mods, and you want to go ahead and just download the same thing. You know, Albo, he updates his mods pretty frequently. I'd say, you know, anywhere from, you know, 1 to 3 times a week. Sometimes you know, he's pretty, you know, he's like a rock star on the moderation team. You know, he updates a lot. So right now he's got this one. I mean, by the time that you see this video, if it's like 3 months from now, he may be on 8.0 now. If he sees this video, he may kind of laugh at that, because he does do a lot of listening to the supporters and stuff. I would highly encourage you to actually donate to him. I've done that before, and you know, these modders put a lot of hours, you know, into their into the game, and he has, you know, obviously put in, you know, a lot of hours. I mean, he's got, you know, over 170 hours. I think that's probably an understatement. Actually, he's probably put in way over that. So anyway, this ad's brought to you by Albo 1125. Download this file. He's straight up right to the point. I mean, you just go straight into downloading. Download it straight to the desktop, guys. All right. Back it out a little bit. go to his other mod, arrest manager, going to want that, more jail points, prisoner transport, all that other fun stuff. Pretty cool. Same thing, stay away from that area, download this file, get it on your desktop. Okay, enough of that site. This is what you're going to look like. Right there, you got 3 mods we're going to install, and so we're going to open up the directory again, and we're just going to kind of slap it over there, and then we're going to open up these different folders right here. Okay, we're going to start with the Rust Manager. So notice he's got the folders pretty easy for you to install. Now, you're not going to be just throwing these in the different folders. Don't do that, guys. The easiest thing to do is take the folder and literally plop it anywhere you want inside the main directory. Just stay away from the launchers, okay? That's another launcher there, obviously. We just want to just drop it in here. Now it's going to ask you to overwrite the plugins folder. What's cool about Windows 7 and 8 and 10 is that it just adds to the folder, unlike Windows XP. I don't know if anybody's even on XP anymore, but it's pretty outdated. That would actually have overwritten the folder, and we don't like that, so it just adds to the folder, which is really nice. So we just want to say yes. Now this is what your new plugins folder looks like. Do you see anything different? The answer is no, because if you look at his folder, there's another subfolder which matches that subfolder, and if you click in there, there is Elbow right there. So here's his arrest manager, and tell you what, let's go ahead and go into his INI file. See that file right there below the DLL? Right there, that's the one you can actually manipulate. So we're going to manipulate that file right now, guys. If you click on it and your computer doesn't know what to do with it, in case you have a very, very clean, new installed computer, new hard drive, whatever, you may have to tell it, to select a program. I'd highly encourage you to use Notepad as an editor. So you just double click it and it opens up. There's only a couple of things that you need to actually change here, guys. This is the arrest manager. There's one thing in particular that you're going to want to change. Let's see. Right here. And really, actually, you don't have to. This is just, my personal preference, guys. Okay. Now this right here, this vehicle is a transport unit. And as you know, if most of you probably live here in the United States, we usually don't have, a van that comes over and, picks up your prisoner for you. So I kind of like to have a police car unit. So you could actually do that, but I like to use that particular car right there. And if you use it in game, you'll see it's pretty sweet. I like it. So pretty much that's what you want to change. And then once you get a little bit better at this, I want you to come down here and look at the different models that you can have. You may have to do a little bit of Googling. And if you want, I could do another tutorial to show you how to change this. You can actually change the actual person that comes out of the vehicle to collect your prisoner, which is pretty cool. And so you want to probably leave that alone for right now. And right now it's going to seem a little bit weird having a prison guard coming out of a regular police car, but for now that's the way I'm going to leave it. But I'm going to come back and change it later. But I just wanted to show you that you can change some things within the INI. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to go ahead and get out. And now we're going to get back to the main. This is where I want you right here, okay? And so we're going to get out of this. We're going to go into Traffic Policer. Now notice there's some different stuff going on here, okay? Now you can always, I highly encourage you to always go to the README file. But you would not, if you really understood the README file, you probably wouldn't be here in the first place. So I'm going to assume that maybe you just need some extra help. With Traffic Policer, what I want you to do is take this rage native UI.ll. We just call it DLL file. It really will help load with the rage hook a lot better if you have this also. So what I want you to do, notice it's kind of sitting off by itself, kind of floating here. You don't, and it's explained in the README file. So what you're going to want to do is just drag it right into your Grand Theft Auto 5 main directory and just drop it. And notice it just kind of went down here to the bottom there because it's alphabetized. And you just leave it there and you're done. and you kind of know what's coming next. You take your plugins folder, same thing. Don't put it anywhere here, guys. Just drop it right here. It's going to ask to overwrite the folder. You say yes, and then notice that it's going into that Lspdfr folder. Go ahead and say yes again. And now it's wanting to overwrite one of his files that he already has with his arrest manager mod. Go ahead and just say, move and replace. That's okay. It's the same kilobyte. It's the same exact file. He just gave you an extra one there. That's okay. Now, notice we're still in the main directory, guys. He's got something else special in here. So if you double click that, you'll see a police scanner. And here's the cool part. You don't have to know where it goes. You don't have to understand any of this. So you're just kind of dragging and dropping, okay? So the easiest thing to do is just take the Lspdfr folder, and it's going to go inside this main folder right there. So what you do once again is take it and grab and drop it right here. It's going to ask to go ahead and merge into this folder, which is really nice. We're going to say yes. Now when you open up the Lspdfr, you're not going to see it right here because if you look back over here, you're going to see that still that same folder is at. But if you dive a little bit deeper into his traffic policer, you're going to see traffic policer audio. So that's where he gets his audio to go into the game, where the dispatcher is speaking caution when you approach this vehicle, things like that. So notice that it's going to be right down in here. See that right there? And all this stuff right there is all a native Lspdfr that came from Sam, the main modder, the coder of Lspdfr, along with there's a few other ones. They kind of stay in the background. They're not extremely well known, but anyway, we just call him Sam. So notice that got installed right there, and so you just leave all that alone. So once again, this is your main directory. This is what you should have going on, guys. Nothing going on here. And this is Albo, arrest manager, or the arrest manager, sorry, and then traffic policer. Notice it also comes with an INI, which is really nice. And this is what I want you to do. Go ahead and go into the traffic policer INI. Open it up. It'll open in Notepad. You can also do this in WordPad, but I like Notepad better. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. The very first thing I want you to do is, if you look down here, okay, this is what the game is going to call you whenever you're responding to calls and when you accept calls and all these things. If you don't have a name here, it's not going to know what to call you except the name of your computer. So some of you guys that are on your mom's computer, it may say, mommy's computer. So I'm just warning you right now, mommy's going to be responding to a lot of calls. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you call yourself, something, cool. I don't know. How about that? So Officer Captain Obvious is going to be responding to these calls at the moment. And, you can call yourself anything. I'm just kind of joking here, guys. You can just, Officer whatever. If your last name is Lawson or Smith or whatever, Officer Smith, So you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. Right here, I want to show you a couple of things. These are blips that Albo has created on your mini map, and they'll be white. So if you want to remove those blips, you would set this to false. And all that the blips are really there for is just they're creating an actual event in your game. So, and that's how cool this mod is, that it creates events as you're playing. So it'll create like a DUI, it'll create someone speeding, it'll create someone talking on their cell phone. It gets, there's a lot of stuff here. So if you want to kind of be drawn attention to those white blips, you'd set these to false. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to change these, but you can actually, if you want to be truly immersed and you want to really find it on your own, find the blips and all these other things, change these to false. Another thing, this text right here, show ambient event description. Now, what that means is that it's actually going to tell you what the blips are. You know, creating DUI event, creating, you know, street racing event. You know, if you don't want to see any of that and you want to have a true immersive gameplay, you would set this to false. So I kind of like usually setting that to false, just mainly because, you know, I don't like to see the descriptions personally. You know, Albo does that to just kind of help, especially new players, get adjusted to the game, which is kind of cool. But if you really want a true immersive gameplay, just change it to false. Okay, come up here and save it. We're done with that. And then we have one more mod to install, and that would be Police Radio, and I saved that one for last because it just requires a little bit more finesse. If you look at the README file on Police Radio, you'll notice that, you know, obviously Fincon's been, he's having to do this because he gets a lot of questions asked and people just don't seem to understand where to put all the folders. Well, you can tell he's a little frustrated because he's, you know, he's telling you about probably 8 times. So what about though if you're new to the game? You know, we gotta be honest here, guys. Some of these, you know, some people like you that may be watching this tutorial may not know how to do, like, where does the call out go? I mean, most people don't know that are new. So he's got, you know, in his README all this stuff. You're not going to know all that. So that's why you have me, right? So I'm going to tell you what to do. So what you want to do is, let's pretend we're back to here again. Okay. And you're going to, once again, you're going to install this all into the plugin folder. Okay. So you're going to go to plugins, but not here. Don't go here. Okay. You want to dive a little deeper. Go to Lspdfr. And now I want you to drag everything except the README file. So highlight everything, left control, unhighlight there, and literally grab this and drag it right in here. Okay. So now you have a folder within a folder within a folder. So back out. You got your plugins. This is all, you know, native Lspdfr. This is where your other stuff is going to go, guys. I'll make another video for y'all, like your cop holster, your you know, spotlight, your vehicle search. You know, those kind of cool mods. They go here, and I'll do another video if you want. You know, tutorial, help you out. So once again, this is where most of your plugins are going to end up right there. So Police Radio, you're just going to leave everything alone. Here's the INI again for Police Radio. You want to go ahead and dive into this. So notice the very first thing that I want you to change is right down here. Let's see where you at, Fincon. There you are. Okay, you obviously don't want to play with Fincon's name, right? Unless you really admire him that much. No, I'm sure he would tell you the same thing. You want to change your player name. So, you know, once again, you know, you want to be called what you want to be called in game, which is pretty cool. You know, name yourself something cool or whatever you want. Officer Smith, or you want a Sergeant Smith, you know. So we're once again Officer Captain Obvious. We can, you know, you can always change that. Now, one other thing that you can do, just to show you that you can actually do, this needs to be capitalized. When you see the coroner vehicle show up, most people like the van, and that's fine. But when I call a coroner, I just personally like it to be an ambulance. That's just me. So we got an ambulance coming to our guys. So can't type tonight. Okay, so we got an ambulance. Make sure it's all capitalized. Make sure it's spelled correctly. If it's misspelled, it's not going to work. It's probably going to crash more than likely. So make sure you know what you're doing. And you can obviously go in here and change a few other things, which are really cool. This is the whole point of the INI, guys. But, you know, notice he's got also, there's a modded van right there on the Lspdfr site called a Coreboxville. You can manipulate that. I don't have that mod installed, so I don't want to mess with that. But ambulance, everybody has ambulance, okay? So when I call a coroner, the ambulance shows up. And then it gets a little weird, you know, because the coroners get out of the ambulance, and that's just my personal preference, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and save this file, and we're going to do that, close all this out, because we're done in actually installing those 3 main mods, okay? So for the sake of the tutorial that I showed you, we're almost done. So make sure you come down here to Rage Plugin Hook and right click. You're going to go to Properties, and you're going to go to Advanced, and make sure you always have off, you know, checked off Run as Administrator. And if you want to do it the lazy way, you can always right click and just go here, Run as Administrator. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and run administrator right now. It's going to say, you know, pop up, you know, are you going to allow this to have administrative rights? You say yes, and then we're going to let it kind of load up here. The main reason why I'm loading this, guys, is I want to show you this right here first. This is from Albo's mod because we just installed it. The Lspdfr has never seen it, so the Rage Hook has never seen it, and it's simply asking because my firewall is saying, you know, what the hell is this? So that's what's going on here. And notice we want it to load. So see all these other things? We know it's okay. So you just go ahead and say yes, unblock, or let Rage Hook unblock that. Okay. I'm just loading this up, and one thing I want you to know also, guys, is that sometimes I've been seeing a pattern here that Windows 10 and sometimes Windows 7 and 8 as well, Windows Firewall has been blocking some of the Rage Hook, you know, executable files. You have to make sure that that you're allowing the firewall to allow certain executable files, you know, to actually load. So I've been getting a lot of you know, comments on my videos, well, the tutorial the main ones, obviously, is, you know, they can't get their things to work, and I've been noticing the firewall has been blocking a lot of their attempts to, you know, get into the game. So make sure that your firewall, you know, just go ahead and turn it off and see if you can get in the game that way. If you have not been able to get into the game, see if that works. If you know that it works that way, then you know, okay, that it's okay. Now notice the very bottom, the only thing that's loading right now, see that? Lspdfr first response. That's what the FR stands for, first response. So notice you did not see arrest manager, traffic policer, or police radio. The main reason why you did not see that is because even though it's in the plugin folder, it's kind of, it just gets accepted into Lspdfr as being kind of native, if you will. The mods have done that for you, the modders rather. So I was going to show you something real fast. We're going to get into here. We're just going to select an officer. Gotta love. Nice, thanks. Thanks for ruining my video with your cursing, you little mother. Gotta love GTA, right? The language in this game. So we're gonna just sit here just for a second. You'll see Albo's mod there to the left's kind of loaded up. Arrest manager. Alright, see to the left there where it says at the very bottom, it says traffic officer, captain obvious. So if you were on your mother's computer, it'd probably say something like traffic officer mommy's computer. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. You gotta change that name in that folder, okay? So I'm just gonna show you real fast. Just for the sake of the video, because, you know, love you guys, you know what I'm saying? I'll do anything for my viewers, you know, including this. Now, I would normally never do that. You know me, really. I just would not do that. That's an accident. Alright, so we are going to call a coroner service. Oh, really? You're going next.
Dumbass!
Accident. That's an accident. Alright, you can see that our coroner wagon is a ambulance driver. So he's going to basically take some pictures of me, by the body, kind of like a tagged deer. Basically, is what he's doing. Oh, really? Exactly, I agree. I'd love to just keep tagging y'all. You want? I mean, I'll just... Anybody else? So that's my coroner, guys. So they, you can see them. They only took pictures of one body because I just shot that guy. They're not gonna hang around.
We have a traffic alert in Strawberry for an assault with a deadly weapon.
All right, we're gonna accept this call, but we're not gonna really go out on it. Look at the top left of your screen. Traffic officer, Officer Captain Obvious, is responding to this ANPR hit. Once again, guys, take that in consideration. It already says traffic officer, so you may want to just call yourself something like Smith, something like that. But if you don't change that name, it's going to be the name of the computer that you're on. Alright, so with that being said, you just got to change that name and that INI that I showed you earlier. Okay, so this will end today's episode of the Man Cave, and this is going to be the just the beginning of the tutorial side of it for plugins. So I hope that somebody got something out of this tutorial and you're able to load up some plugins and get into the game and kind of get a little bit immersed into some gameplay and be able to call for a tow truck and coroner and all this other stuff. So if you'd like more videos like this, I will... Look at this guy taking pictures. I'll give you something else to take a picture of. Here, take a picture of that too. Put that on Instagram. Alright, as I was saying, if you like stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Make some comments below. Let me know that you do like this kind of stuff, and I'll do more videos for you guys, and I'll even get into the complex part of it. The videos explaining, where to put all your other plugins because they go in a different spot. Anyway, guys, y'all take care and peace out.